Hey there and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to master your fear of interviewing. One of our viewers mentioned that every time the person goes on an interview, they start to sweat, they get super nervous, and they're blowing those interviews. Well, you know what? You are not alone, my friend. Lots of people have this problem, and I'm going to walk you through the 3 steps that you can use to conquer your fear of interviews. In fact, I have taught this to many people inside the Work It Daily Career Growth Club, and my favorite story is of a young man who had graduated college with not 1 but 2 degrees. He was so employable, but every time he went on a job interview, he was so scared and nervous, he would sweat, it would drip down his face, his palms would be sweaty, there would be big, stains under his shirts. He was miserable, and he was missing every interview. But we fixed that, and we did it with the 3 steps that I'm going to reveal to you today. So you ready? Let's get started. So the first tip is for you to write out your answers to all the interview questions that you can think of and read them to yourself out loud. It's really important that you think of interviewing as a habit, answering questions as something that feels normal and natural. Now, how do you do that? Well, think about any habit you have. In fact, a lot of people don't realize that over 70% of the things that we do every single day are habits. They're things that we do mindlessly. We've conditioned ourselves to do them, whether it's brush your teeth, whatever it is. And you can do the same. Yes, you really can with interviewing. But it starts by writing out your answers to the questions so that you're not having to fumble for them when you're in the interview. That's what's getting you so nervous. If you have them written out, you can read them back to yourself over and over. And my advice is you read them until you are sick of them, until you're bored, until you're so tired of looking at them that now you feel like you could say them in your sleep. That's when you know that you're far more prepared. And when you get in those pressure situations like an interview, you're going to find it easier to recall that information because it's right there inside your memory. So my second tip is for you to use visualization to imagine yourself succeeding. Now this really works. Again, there's more science behind this. Did you know that when your body has an emotion like fear or excitement, it can't tell the difference from something that's actually happening in your life and something you're thinking about in your head? So what does that mean? Well, if you can use visualization to imagine yourself walking into the interview with confidence, smiling and shaking the hand of the hiring manager, seeing them smile back, sitting down and having a nice, calm, interesting conversation together, exchanging ideas, answering the questions effortlessly. If you can imagine those things, it's going to create a reaction inside you. It's going to condition your body to think about interviewing as a positive experience as opposed to a negative one. So that when you actually go on the interview, it's going to feel like you've done this 100 times because in your head, you really have. Visualization is one of the keys to being able to be more confident in your interviews in reality. Okay, before I give you the final tip, I want to ask you, how do you visualize succeeding in an interview? I want to hear the story that you're telling yourself. Put it in the comments below. I can't wait to see what you come up with. And also, it may spark some ideas from one another so that you can tell an even better story in your head and do a better job when you get on that interview. So my third tip is to do a mock interview with a colleague or a friend, but never a family member. So why is that? Well, the reality is your family, they're very close to you. They're very biased. Most of the time, when people do a mock interview with family, they're either overly critical, which is going to deflate you and make you more nervous, or they're overly complimentary and they don't really help you get any better. Friends, former coworkers, professional peers, these individuals will be tactful, but will have your best interests in mind. They're going to be able to give you some constructive feedback about how you can better improve in the process. Also, I find it's a little bit harder to do a mock interview with a peer or a friend. You really don't want to embarrass yourself in front of them. So by practicing with them and getting it out, if you can do it with them, it's going to be even easier to do it with a stranger. And that's really why you want to do the mock interview. You want to get past your fear of it. You want to feel, again, like that step number 2, that you're actually doing it correctly so that when you get in there in the moment, you're able to knock it out of the park. Now, if you're enjoying these tips so far, I really want to mention that we have a great video that you should also check out for the point in the interview where they say, do you have any questions for me? We actually have 8 questions that you can ask on an interview to really stand out and earn credibility. And you can check that link out up above or somewhere down in the description. You know, everyone is more confident in their life when they're comfortable. And that's exactly what these 3 steps are designed to do, to make you more comfortable with the process of interviewing before you go on the interview. That is the key to greater success. So if all this is making sense to you and you're thinking you'd like more help with your interview prep, I really encourage you to check out the subscriptions over at Work It Daily. We are the #1 career growth club. We're helping thousands of individuals just like you get the information they need, get the coaching they need, and get the support they need from their peers so that they can make things happen. like being successful in interviews. I guarantee you will feel it is a game changer and you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So please check it out. All right, so if you made it this far, then hopefully you enjoyed this. Please make sure you comment down below your favorite piece of advice. Which tip do you think will be most helpful? We also love your comments, your questions, your feedback. We read each and every one. And we're always creating new videos like this. So if you enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button and be sure to check that little bell. That way you'll get instant notifications the moment we post something new. And of course, if you still feel like you need more help here on YouTube, we've got a couple more videos you can check out. These will also help you get even more prepared for those interviews, especially things like behavioral questions, which are really hard and important to understand. All right, that's it for me. Listen, remember, you are not alone when it comes to job search and career development, especially when it comes to interview prep. So please come back and visit us often because you know what? If you want to win, you've got to work it daily.